I got here from Baltimore. It's a 10-hour drive. I drove that by myself, and I like to play driving games when I'm driving that far, so I played my favorite game today. It's called Smoke Weed Every 35 Minutes. Anybody else ever played that? It's the best game ever, because like 4 hours in, you don't even realize you're driving anymore. You're like, what? This Hyundai Sonata drives itself? What? Am I the car? Like, I drove to Buffalo once, and I was playing that game the whole way up. And like when you get into New York, like every half a mile is a prison, and that's a little off-putting when you're stoned. So I was like, all right, I got to stay under the cops' radar. So I was doing like a cool 40 and a 60 the whole way up, you know. And the cops didn't notice, but everybody else did. Like, this one guy pulled up behind me, and he was hitting his high beams and honking his horn. And I was like, what does this guy want? And then he pulls up next to me, flips me off, and then he cuts me off. And when he cuts me off, on the back of his car, I see it says, for videography for weddings, bar mitzvahs, and birthday parties, call Mike. And then it had his phone number. I was like, yeah, you messed up, buddy. I am very high and very angry, and I love to mess with people. So I called him, and yeah. As I was driving, I called him, and he answered, and he's like, hey, this is Mike, how can I help you? And I was like, hey, Mike, are you trying to blow me? And he was like, what, who is this? What do you want? And I was like, hey, man, it's the guy in the car behind you. You were just honking and flashing your high beams. I figured you wanted to pull over to a rest stop, and, you know, I'm 22, man. I don't know how the road works. You got to play this game for me, you know? And then he got off the highway, which... like, yeah, that's like a win when you're road raging, but it didn't feel like it because I thought I was going to get love that night. And, yeah, I didn't. I kept driving. 15 minutes later, he called me back. He's like, hey, I'm at the rest stop. Where are you? I was like, it's too late. I got to get this $25 in Buffalo, man. I don't have time for this. I don't like driving very much. I got rear-ended a few months ago by a 91-year-old man named Wolfram. It's his real name. I guess you could say he Wolfram the hell out of me. Hey, come on. I'm first joke of the night. That was great. That was great. He really did. He rear-ended me. He was going 65 miles per hour. I was going 0 miles per hour. Luckily, I was texting when it happened, so I didn't see it coming. I just kind of shook it off, took it like a champ, and I called my oldest brother because I didn't know what to do. My oldest brother's a Jehovah's Witness, right? So. Yeah, I call him up. I'm like, hey, David, I just got in a car accident. What do I do? He said, in times like these, I think, what would Jehovah want me to do? Damn it, man, I don't have time to make pamphlets and knock on doors. I need an ambulance. So, you guys can laugh harder than that. It's nighttime. They're not allowed out. We're safe here.